Okay, and then we plotted its frequency response. So we obtained that we found that whatever purpose, whatever design uh, that we're supposed to do, we're able to fulfill the requirement. Of course, because of these lobes that are there, we can see at 25 hertz there is a presence of side lobes and all. So some values are there, but it is sufficiently attenuated or attenuated to a great extent. So without this much of attenuation, it is now so-called stop band, is acceptable or not, you need further down or so. That is something where you need to look at how what you can do by which these characteristics, the one that you see here, can be further improved or uh, or I mean what we can do with it. I mean what is so here, since it is a single frequency, so you can have some mechanism, but if it was a band, then in this band here, this is the central one, somewhat reduced, but if there was something over here, that would have been given a greater magnitude than this one. This is the first side lobe. We have seen before the characteristics that this is higher than the next one. So we have to look for some other thing by which we can address this problem, or to the extent possible. It is not that it entirely you can remove it. And one thing that comes to our mind, given whatever we have experienced so far, that we can play with the weights. Okay. So the weights that we had seen before, we have seen that if you change the weights, the characteristics gets changed. So we can play with the weights of those lag values or the coefficients and see how these characteristics gets changed and whether it fulfills requirement to a greater extent. It is now fulfilling the requirement. 25 Hz is removed compared to 15 Hz and 35 Hz. But if you want this stop band attenuation below a certain value, further reduced or so, say this frequency band you have purchased. This frequency band you have purchased. There is a transition that is allowed, a guard band kind of thing. And this is somebody else has purchased. And you are not supposed to radiate in this particular band. You are not supposed to put any information in this band. Theoretically, it is not possible. So you will be having some leakage, some such thing, something made available here. But the government regulation or the standard body might say that, okay, we understand the practical issue, but you must not radiate or must not put anything more than this dB, more than this. So your attenuation must be less than this value. Do you get my point? So anything and everything, anything that you guys get by default might not work. So you have to fulfill the requirement. So you have to reduce, bring it down to a value which is acceptable. Okay. Am I clear on posing the problem? Can you get an audio response? To summarize, I am saying here we have got something. We are saying that in this stop band which doesn't belong to me. Of course, transition band is okay. This is guard band. So basically, I'm talking about somebody has purchased this band. Okay. it doesn't, this frequency spectrum is a costly thing, so they are purchased, they are supposed to play with this, they are supposed to carry signal and other things in this band. It doesn't belong to me. So I'm doing something by which there can be some residual information, residual signal over here from my communication channel and all. That should be below certain value. Is that clear? This is the summary of it. Can I get an audio response?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So by default we got something, and we can calculate. You can calculate the magnitude. You can all those things. But they may say that no, it must be less than something. So for which one mechanism that we have seen how to go ahead. This is just by truncation and all, whatever we have got so far. And then we can play with the weights and see whether any improvement can be done or not. So we work on that. So this part is the basic filter that we had considered before, right? So here we look at how we arrive at these weights, etc. You ignore for the time being. So this is my impulse response, unit sample response, the way we have obtained it before, right? Order is 3. Now this is an array where these are 3 values. So 3 values I have mentioned here. Okay. So modified filter response is, in this case, in MATLAB, those who are new to MATLAB. So if these are the 3 values that are there, so dot star is a command, where element by element multiplication is done and stored here. These 2 are multiplied. And stored here. Then these 2 are multiplied and stored here. Okay, so this is element by element multiplication. Both are array of equal length. Okay, so this is what is happening. So what is the effect of it? So originally, whatever values you got in your previous experiments, previous exercise, you are the middle part remaining the same, you are downweighting the other 2. What would keep the previous values same? If you have 1, 1, 1 everywhere. Am I not clear? If this W1 is 1, 1, 1, then you multiply, then each one will be same as what was before, because it is element by element multiplication. So from previous exercise, we were plotting the H values, impulse response, this my sync, the basic version of it. If you look at the numbers, if you just display these coefficient values, weights, you will see that these are the values 0.3183, 0.5 and 0.3183 for order 3. So if W1 was 1, 1, 1, element by element multiplication, the modified H1 will also be same as this. But what you are doing, W1 is made 0.08, 1 and 0.08. So central one remains the same, but other two are downweighted to a great extent, by which modified H1 becomes like this. Okay. Again, I am asking you for the time being, you do not worry about where from suddenly these weights are coming. We shall discuss that later. Right now, we'll just understand that this is the way a modified weight is arrived at. Okay. Then we do the same thing. The modified frequency response, we look at it frequency response, and of course the modified values. We have already seen actual values, so if you want to plot it, we can plot it. So this was for order 3. We can, because we are using 3739 for all the examples, so we continue with that. It will help us understand, correlate and all. So for 0.7, we also arrive at some weight vector by some means, which we shall discuss later, and then modify the coefficients, weights. Okay. So here, what do you see? The central value is again 1 and inmost value is 0.08. Okay. So this is what was before. In between, you have placed 2 other values. Right? And again, if it was all 1, then it would have been same as whatever you had got before. But these are values, only the central one is 1, other values are less, but of different degree. So this multiplication is different. So more you go away from the central part, okay, more is the down weighting that is happening. Okay. So it will look something like this. Okay. So this is the central part, then is getting downward. Right. So you get a modified this thing. And similarly for 39, again the central value is 1 and this 0.08 and this is 0.08, and in between you will see that the other values are placed one after another. Okay, so that is what you see for this particular case. Okay, and this is the modified this thing. So this is a filter you have designed for different order, which is where the filter coefficients are given different kind of weightage, and we'd like to see how this filter looks like. Now look at this carefully, and for comparison I have plotted H if it was not multiplied with W. This is what you had seen before, and this is what you have got over here. Same 3, 7 and 39. Look at it carefully and give your observation.
So there are
Yes,
no
yes, please.
ripples. So it seems that there are no ripples.
Okay. So, can you identify yourself? Who is speaking?
My name is Sridhar.
Sridhar. Yes, Sridhar, please. Yeah.
So it seems that there are no ripples like
No
the.
ripple. So one effect is on ripple. Hmm.
So it also seems that the attenuation in the stop band is lower.
Stop band attenuation. That is another thing. Attenuation. Right. That is another thing. Yes.
And sir, it also looks as if the transition width has increased.
Transition, very Sridhar, you have very sharp eye, very sharp eye. Okay, because this picture is quite, you know, not that big. So, but you could relate. Yeah, it for many it might not see ripple part, stop band attenuation part. You know, maybe easy to identify, relatively easy to identify. But if you compare, it might not be so easy. But Sridhar has observed that transition width is another place where there is a effect. Okay. So if we talk about any other person, I mean, any are those three things observed by everybody? Transition width could be a bit problematic, but ripple part you can see over here, easily visible, right? Otherwise, also you know that the standard one that we had seen before. And the attenuation part also you can see the scale is more or less same in previous diagrams. So if you remember that, or otherwise you can see and you can imagine that stop band attenuation performance is better. But what is a bit difficult maybe for you to figure out uh, because the scale is different over here, but that the transition width is increased. Okay, somewhat increased, right? So from design point of view, the problem I posed before, you see that there is gain somewhere and then is loss somewhere. Of course, stop band attenuation part, you are meeting the criteria perhaps better. Again, we do not know what they are asking. If they are asking, say, 60 dB down, stop band attenuation, and whether this is providing 40 dB or 50 dB, better than the previous one. Previous one probably was providing 15 dB, 20 dB down. So that part we do not know. We have not mathematically, looked at that part, but definitely it is better than previous one. But as I said, design is a trade-off. One issue is that guard band now the transition band that becomes a bit wider. So it is up to the regulator or the standard authority whether they allow this much of guard band or not, because it is not productive. So neither I can use it nor the other person can use it. Okay, so this is not fetching any money, or I mean you cannot put any signal through any carrier over here. Okay, but that is what life is. Always there is a trade-off whenever you talk about design. But definitely we have seen that weights have played their role, and we have got an interesting, I mean, a different kind of representation from there. Okay. Now, we'd like to see what is the performance of these filters for a signal which is having 20 Hz, 30 Hz, 40 Hz in a composite signal, right? And then we are passing it through the filter, okay, and would like to see what is its effect. Okay. So whatever we have designed here, pi by 2, 25 Hertz. Okay. So this we would like to pass this composite signal through the modified this filter. So this was the previous one without multiplying with weight, and this is the one currently, just now you have designed it. Now your observation, other than Sridhar, somebody more preferably somebody who has not spoken before and all. I mean, just give your observation. And of course, this is 3, this is 7 order, and this is 39. Similarly, 3, 7, 39. And we have seen that we have removed the transients, initial part, etc. So those things are separate. Okay.
So due to the smooth characteristic of this modified filter, we see that in the 3 case, it has not able to provide any attenuation whatsoever that is required to any of those. Like there might be some slight attenuation, but it's not enough clearly. And in the 7 case also we see that since the, as Sridhar said, transition width is more, so going from 256 to 512 also, the drop in the magnitude is much smaller for the middle frequency. And but in the 39 case we see that it has performed better than the previous filter, attenuating both of the frequencies to almost 0.
Okay. So someone else, can you relate it to whatever Sridhar was mentioning about few things, ripple, stop band attenuation, transition width? Okay. Can somebody relate whatever has been observed, I'm just now told, to those 3 things in practical, uses of it, where you are trying to isolate, separate out one particular frequency through by designing a low pass filter. 3 orders are there, 3, 7, 39. What do you observe here? And what has been observed in the frequency response? So here and here, same order, no? Here and here, right? Why is it more?
As the
More
transition
here.
width is more.
So transition width is more. Good. Right. Then here you see the values over here, the values over here, right? So what is to do it? How is it related to
This
previous?
is related to the
ripple and also stop band attenuation part,
stop
right?
band
Which is,
attenuation.
you can see this level and the level over here. Okay, so that also you can see. But for any order, which is comparable, right? Transition width is more here. So for which it will be problematic if it is closely spaced and the order is less. Okay. So if you are restricted with the order and less issue with the stop band attenuation and all, some amount of ripple you can handle, and whatever attenuation this one provides and this one provides, both are acceptable, then you can achieve it with less order by this method, rather than this, if both the attenuation, stop band attenuation are acceptable, right? And that will require less hardware, less computation, less processing, less power, so many other things less. Okay, so this is the design trade-off you have to keep in mind. But if the issues are more stringent, like the one that I told just before, that the adjacent band doesn't belong to you and you must not go to that band and radiate power more than what you are supposed to, then you have to think of, okay, this might not do, this might do and all. Okay, good. So the weight that we had seen before, these weights are coming from what is called Hamming window. Okay, so if you write in MATLAB help Hamming or Hamming within bracket filter order, say 3, 7, 39, these weights will arrive. Usually you work in the lab, I mean, you just, or many places, you don't see the weights. And I mean, some of you might have seen, but so here we are specifically looking at the weight and their profile and how they are affecting. But these weights you can get by Hamming window. This comes from a specific equation we shall see later. Now we look at another kind of weighting scheme, okay, which is what you see over here. Okay, so earlier it was 0.028. You remember in the Hamming case, leave this part, not required, one semicolon is enough. Earlier you saw that this was 0.08. Right, this was also 0.08. Middle one was 1. But here you see 0.5 and 0.5. We shall see the Hamming equation. This Hamming equation is relatively more easy to implement, I mean, better looking and all. We shall see later. Okay, so this Hamming equation, if you look at its plot, this is your 7, this is your 39. One thing that has been mentioned, it is not exactly Hamming window. What does it mean? That this is the central one is 1. Then the last value is 0, which was 0.08 for Hamming is 0 over here. So the last value, since it doesn't contribute when you multiply with the weight, so that has not been shown here. So in Hamming window, it ends at 0.08. Here it ends at 0.01. Okay, so either end it is 0 for any order. So that's why it has not been shown here. So actually, whatever is shown up to this, the last, I mean, because these are discrete values, so the just last but 1. And accordingly, the weighting is done. So by changing W in this manner, you arrive at the frequency response. The rest of the things are same, so I'm not repeating, just a different set of weights that are there. Now, if you compare, this was Hamming weighted, and what you see here is Hamming. Okay, apparently there is no appreciable change. Okay, because the scale in which I have made the screen available to you, right? Or even if you see it in some little bit bigger screen, still you'll see that there might not be any appreciable change in the frequency response. Of course, the coefficients are different, like they are 0.05, it is multiplied and all. Is it fine? Do you see any appreciable change here? This is 1 and this is 1, so basically the scale is different. Anyone wants to comment?
We can see a reduced attenuation in filter order 3 case.
Filter order 3.
Case.
The
stop band attenuation has fallen more downwards.
Stop band attenuation has fallen more downward. Okay. All right. My eyesight is
So no, sir.
0.5. So this is 0.5. This is 0.45. Yes. And this is 0.2. Excellent. Very good observation. Who is it? Your name, please?
Janeshwar.
Oh, Anisha. Excellent. Right. it was so small, these indices, Y indices, it was difficult for me to read. Okay, so yeah, in Hanny you can see that it is at this level, this 512. Okay, this is Fs by 2, this is your 0.2, it has gone so much down, while this is 0.4. Good observation. Right. Okay, it is because of the difference in the scale. Had we plotted it up to 0.2 here, over here, 0.2, it would have been more prominent. Otherwise, this gap looks, more or less same, but actually the scale over here, these indices are different. Very good observation. Okay, otherwise the shapes are more or less same, the stop band part, etc. Good. So we again pass the same composite signal, this low pass filter, through this modified Henning windowed this thing. And as your friend has correctly pointed out, okay, you can see that which was kind of no appreciable change. I wanted to put it in that manner that you are not able to see these weight values, okay, in a hurry or so. But you can see appreciable change because these weights are now playing factored here. So this is your Henning. Okay, and that is Hemming. Upper one. Okay. Is it fine? Right? So we can see and it conforms to whatever we are expecting and all. Okay. Stop band attenuation more or less same, but definitely the transition part of it, the performance is better for Henning. Okay. Again, you know where to use what given what your customer wants. Now this brings us to more formal part of, given that we have seen and understood that weights play a major factor, formal Windows-based filter design, FIR filter design, you might have already been exposed to certain amount of theoretical background, this theoretical background in your lab classes because of the second experiment was related to this. So nevertheless, it might be a little bit of repetition for some of you, but it's okay. I mean, it's always good to have a revisit of important concepts. So more formally, whatever we have just discussed, whatever we have seen through experimentation, I would like to put it in put a theoretical cover. So we had HDN derived from a desired filter response, which is a, if it is a low pass, a brick wall kind of filter response, and this we can get by inverse DTFT. So DTFT relationship is like this, and here we know that this HDN, which goes in the making of HD e to the power j omega DTFT, requires n from minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, so this is infinitely long. This is one issue, and for real-time signal processing, where data is coming as a function of, data is seen as a function of time, and the future is not seen. So this n minus infinity to minus 1, that will contribute to non-causal character of the filter or the system, which will ask future values. So these future values are not available. So these are the issues. But if it is offline processing and these indices are not time but space, like image processing and all, so pixel values. So if your central point n is somewhere here and you have got pixels this side, these sides, okay, then it is fine. It can be in that sense non-causal. It can take values from its left. And offline, of course, you have all the signal stored in an array, and you are at this time point. Then you already have the information of the previous values. Okay. So we do need to, whatever this HDN you are getting, we need to truncate it. So truncation for practical purposes. So truncation can be done simply by multiplying it with an window. Okay. So this window, we give it a name Wn, and this is the desired frequency response, which is infinitely long, and this is the actual or practical unit sample response of the desired filter. And the simplest part of Wn could be a rectangular window, which is 1 for the length that we are able to accept or accommodate, and rest of the place is 0. So the length over here is, in this case, m plus 1, because n is from 0 to m. So m plus 1 values are being considered here to arrive at this Hn. So of course, this modified Hn, h to the power j omega, will not be same as the previous one, this ideal one that we were looking for. So what would be the modified or actual filter response? So actual filter response would be, since it is multiplication in time domain, actual filter response will be obtained by convolution in frequency domain. Convolution in frequency domain. Okay. So this is the convolution relationship, and this is the desired one, and this is the window function that you get here. So over here it is rectangular window, and we had already seen that from practical purposes point of view, the experimentation process, that it could be some other window as well, Hamming window, then Henning window, and there could be other kind of windows as well, right? So for rectangular window, we had seen the coefficients are like this. If this is the central point, rest all are 0. So Hamming window, we had seen that coefficients are like this. After that, it is all 0. And similarly, Henning window, we had seen like this. Okay. So these are the different values that we have, had a look. So this, whatever this Hn over here, or Wn rather, it is not Hn, Hn is by multiplication we are getting. So corresponding W to the power j omega we shall get, okay, by dTft. So that W to the power j omega and Hd to the power j omega, they are convolved, and then we get the final h to the power j omega. Okay, is that clear? This is the basic concept, and this we might ask you the theoretical part of, class test, etc. How it is arrived at, what is the background. Okay. Now what does it mean if Wn is 1 for all n? Okay. We have seen relationship between Wn is equal to 1, xn is equal to 1 for all n. Then what is the corresponding x e to the power j omega? So it is nothing but impulse response to pi apart. This we have seen before in our basic DTFT, some standard results. So it will be convolution of a delta function which is 2 pi apart with h e to the power j omega. Right? So that will be nothing but that ideal filter that we have seen. That is what you get by convolution. Right? But in that case, Wn is equal to 1 for all n means minus infinity to plus infinity. Right? That is again impractical. But the idea here, if you increase the value of m, right, it will get closer and closer to the actual filter response. It will get closer and closer to actual filter response. So this is the idea, this is the message that we get. Okay, asymptotically it would be like this. And this we can see in the diagrams that follows. So for m is equal to 10, m is equal to 30, m is equal to 50, and m is equal to 80. Okay. So if you plot, then the corresponding, this is the normalized frequency and normalized amplitude. This is what you will get for the Wn, which is rectangular in nature. Okay, so this is like a sinc function, this rectangular thing. Now, what is your observation, your comment? We stay in this slide for a minute or so. Whatever we have just discussed here, over here, and what you see. We have not yet talked about convolution, forget about convolution for the time being. This one, rectangular window, and we said something over here. What is expected for higher values of m? And what you see here. Your observation, please. Anyone? Or shall I call names?
Sir, as m is increased, we get a much better impulse response behavior, which will lead to better filter response.
That is one thing. Any other thing which is important in this context?
Sir, the values of each of the loads are same in all the cases.
Sorry, louder please.
So the value of all the peaks or the lobes are the same in all the cases, just that as we increase them, they come closer together.
So that is important. So now I can expect this kind of answer, given that you can see this y-axis, the peaks, okay, these values as well. So you can see that, right? So these levels and all. Okay. So one thing, of course, both the observations are very correct and very important for us. Okay, when we talk about FIR filter designing by window-based method, that yes, it is becoming sharper. If you keep increasing it asymptotically, it would look like an impulse. Okay, but what do you see? Yes, it is becoming, more like an impulse and all, but these ripples or the side lobes that are there, they hang around. They don't die away, they don't go away. They also come closer, and their amplitude, their magnitude, okay, remain the same. If you look at it, the scale, whatever scale that we have plotted here, that is remaining unaltered. Okay. So this is something which is important for us to observe here, that mere increase in filter order is not going to solve this problem. Whatever, problem that might arise because of presence of this. Okay. While something else, this sharper one, will make it more like the ideal filter type, by increase of M, right? So it will become more and more, brick wall kind of thing, the ideal low pass filter that we had thought of designing, wanted to design, but this nemesis, this, whatever undesirable thing would continue to associate with the designed filter. Okay. Now here we see what the meaning of the convolution equation. So this part you have understood, this WA, right, and its effect on increasing the M. Now we are looking at the convolution equation. Okay. So what is the convolution equation? Says for any specific value of omega, right, you have calculated the HD e to the power j theta, where this HD e to the power j theta is, varying from minus pi to pi, the entire range. Okay. Because that is the, the frequency range over which it is unique. After that it repeats. And W e to the power j omega minus theta. So theta is also making an excursion from minus pi to pi. And then you multiply each point for every value of theta, add it up, and whatever the summation you get is the value that you get for a particular value of omega. Right. This is what convolution equation is. This is what I think. Can somebody rephrase it and tell what this convolution equation represent in terms of omega? May I request someone else? One of you please tell what this convolution equation physically represent. What is happening here? Some multiplication, some addition. Okay, I'm repeating. So omega is the frequency. You would like to see what is the value at that particular value of omega. Now that specific value of omega you substitute here. You could have substituted. These are reversible. I mean, you can have omega minus theta over here, no issue. So for that particular value of omega, if you calculate W, so this W will be just a shifted version of it. Okay, inverted and shifted. That is what convolution is, you have done before for time domain. Now it is only in frequency domain. That is the difference. So that's why I'm asking you to spend some time to get a meaning out of it. Okay. Inverted and shifted. Right. And then you are multiplying and then adding. Integration is just by addition. So all the theta is consumed. And whatever you are left with, a value which is specific to that omega. Then another omega, another shift of this W, this is remaining same. Another, again you calculate and again you go ahead. Another omega, you shift it and again you multiply and then integrate, that means sum it up over the area under the consideration, and then you get another value, and this way it continues. So this is your convolution. So we are looking at one such instance of the convolution where we have already seen W e to the power j omega, normal W e to the power j omega before. So this is W e to the power j omega minus theta for a specific value of omega. Okay. And this is your HD e to the power j theta. This is the brick wall, the basic, the desired one. And for this particular value of omega, this you see the amount of overlap, right? From this point to this point. Rest of the points there is no overlap. This is brick wall. So these are 0 over here. So this doesn't contribute. This doesn't contribute. If you multiply for each values of theta, now this scale is theta, right? So then beyond this point no contribution is there. And then you sum it up. So when you do that, for this value of omega, what you see? This value of omega, corresponds to say this point. So you have got a main lobe over here, right? And then you have got two negative going side lobes over here. So this is one and this is one. So whatever you multiply here, this is positive. These are all same. So this area will be subtracted from this bigger area that you got after. Then these are relatively small contribution that is there, but still some positive, some negative, some positive, negative. So two major negatives are there. So you'll get some value. Now, if I shift it to the next place over here, okay, so that this bigger part of the negative, more area that goes out of this brick wall, then what do you expect? This, whatever value it was here, and what for this omega, and whatever value this omega over here, which one will be more, or they will be remain the same? Can I get an answer?
So the right shifted will be more.
Why? Who is answering? What's your name?
So this is Anish.
Anish, why?
Sir, as you said that as the negative side lobe which is there on the right hand side is moving outside of the window region, it is not getting multiplied with 1 and hence it is not getting added into the convolution.
So as it is going out, something is entering here. Okay. So that could be positive, that could be negative. Even if it is a negative, it is far towards this side, so it will be, its effect will be less. This negative part will be less when it comes here. Say even if it is a new negative that is coming here. So compared to these, in this case, the integration value after integration, it will be more. Can all of you get this point? Please, if any of you has any problem, any difficulty, this is the time to ask the question. Okay. So more negative area, negative going this part, contributing negative area in the negative value more of negative value in the integration is going out and compared to whatever is coming in. Okay. So this value over here will be more than this value. And in between, so if it is neither here nor here, somewhere here. So part is inside and part is outside. And similarly, part will be here. So we expect an in-between value. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Right? So you will be expecting a low value, a high value, and then some mid value. So some oscillation over here.
Yes, sir.
Am I clear? So this is the ripple that you see. And then as it goes out of this is the major part contributing, right? Then more positive area is going out. So it will start falling, the whatever you see. And then it is completely going out. Only this part is there, negative going part is there. Do you get my point? It has completely gone out. Right? So the central part. So only negative going part is there. Right? So this will not contribute anything, it is outside this thing. So the first side lobe is negative going over here. So this is of much value. I mean, relatively, this height that you have seen before is more. So this negative going area that will be there, and of course, this small oscillation will continue. They will be contributing, but this will much of the contribution will come here. So a negative value will come. So this is what you expect, right? Then you further shift it. So this will go away. So next positive will come here, over here, right? Which is relatively more compared to other ripples, other, this thing. So that will contribute in this manner and go on. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So some of the names which I have been familiar with, can I ask? Because this is, once you understand this, then rest of the things are trivial. Aman Raj, are you there? Aman? Ananya Verma?
Yes.
Ananya? Yes, please. Ananya, have you understood this part?
Sir, can you explain this?
This is Ananya speaking?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Ananya, I think, sir, my pronunciation is wrong. Okay.
Yes.
So, someday we'll be having this group of 20 and we shall take some time and with video on we shall interact. I mean, now that 1 month is over, we should know each other at least by face. This semester is going to be like this, no chance of you returning to the campus. Yes, Ananya, yes, please. Ananya, please. Yeah. Have you understood?
Sir, I was just saying that, can you explain this part once again? Like I was a bit confused in between.
Okay, I'll definitely do that, but still let me take a few more.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bhargav Pentakota, Bhargav, are you there? Bhargav, no. Febin Methu?
Yes, sir.
Have you understood?
No, sir, I didn't understand this part.
Why then are you not, if some of you like Anish and all, they respond and I get a feeling that you have understood, then we move ahead. 2 persons I've asked, they've said no. Ganesh, M. Ganesh.
Hello?
Yes, Ganesh, have you understood this part?
Yes, sir.
Yes, very good. Very good. Acha. Let me try just one more and then we'll get back. Sri Charan, Victor Sri Charan.
Yes, sir.
Have you understood?
Yes.
Yes, please. Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay. Then okay. So Ganesh and Sricharan, can you just help me? I mean, can you tell how what I mean? Let me see whether can any one of you tell how convolution of this with this one. Convolution means shifting and multiplying. I mean, and then we are arriving at this h to the power j omega. Okay. So, and which is wavy in nature and all. So can you give some idea? I'll again tell. I'll again discuss. But whatever you want to tell. Ganesh and Sricharan, please.
So there are many ripples in the window function in frequency domain.
Right.
So when it is convoluted in frequency domain, some of the frequencies like the major frequency, we only try to consider the major frequency component, that is most positive area, and the side lobe which has more magnitude. So when we convolve with the low pass filter, so some of the major components go outside, we can see that the magnitude of convolution decreases. That is initially, let's say in the figure which is shaded, that at that point the major side lobes with negative part is present inside the convolution. So we can see that the value is kind of attaining a kind of minima there. And so when the convolution is when the side lobe is outside the convolution, we can see it has attained another maxima.
Yeah.
And,
right. I think you have very nicely explained, because you might ask this explanation and all. So even if you have understood, you have to be able to present it in simple English with appropriate technical terms, right? In your Viva, in your comprehensive Viva, and many other places, often people ask this thing, why it is like this. So clarity should be there. Okay. So very quickly, I think maybe half of you have understood and half has some difficulty. So given 4 people I asked, had 2 different kind of responses. So here we are looking at this expression and what is its physical meaning and how it contributes to modified h to the power j omega, that is the practical or real h to the power j omega, with which you actually work in a DSP system, and it is not what HD and HD e to the power j omega. Okay, so for practical reason. So it means, the convolution means is that if you just shift it W e to the power, reverse it, because of the symmetry it will look the same, and then you are shifting it for every value of omega. You are looking at the overlap. This is rectangular one, the ideal one, and you are looking at this overlap. Overlap has got a positive part and a negative part, and then you are multiplying, multiplying and adding wherever there is overlap and getting the individual values for each of this omega. So you get the omega is over here, you get something over here, then omega is shifted to this place, you will get some value over here, you will get shifted to this value, you will get something over here, and so on. So this is what you will get by shift of omega and looking at this thing. So what we had been discussing, or what your friends just now explained, is how this how these wavy natures are coming and how is it related to these side lobes. Okay, so this is what has been just now explained, or we tried to discuss. So if we look at this point, this specific point of omega, where we see that the negative going area, this first side lobe which contributes, which is a negative going, which has got maximum area under it, negative area under it. I mean, when you multiply it with this value, it will generate negative values. Okay, so that is the maximum at this point of time, at this point, at this value of omega. So that is giving you some value. When you compare this with the other one, when the whole of this negative one, the first one which is contributes to the maximum, is out, right? So obviously, and of course when it is shifted to this side, so something else will come over here, but that something else is lower, contributes lower negative area than what it has been, this one was contributing, right? So effectively the value of h to the power j omega, because of the central lobe and all, right, will be more than what it was over here. So this is what you will see, right? And compared to these two places, when this negative going thing is partially within this rectangular box, this region, right, then we will be having in between values. So that is these in between values that you see. And after that, you enter the transition region when this moves towards right. So more of the positive going thing is going out. So you will be having a sharp fall. And finally, when you arrive at a point when the whole of the central lobe is out, and the first thing which is contributing into the rectangular box, rectangular region, is a negative going thing. Relative to that, everything else, this is positive, this is again a negative, but these are all much lower magnitude. Okay, so if you just multiply and add, then you will have the maximum of the negative thing available over here at this value of omega, when the central lobe is shifted up to this point. So this is what you see over here, and then as you shift over towards right, then this negative going thing is also going, going over here. So something else will come. These are of smaller heights, so accordingly smaller heights things will come. Okay. So read the textbook, read up more of it. I believe if further there is any problem, we can see later. But this is the ripple, and the first side lobe is the one which is the most problematic. And the other observation we can see from here is that this height and this height, they are, because of it is coming from the effect of the the side lobe, first side lobe, which is just going out or coming in. So they are of same magnitude that you can see. And this is how the Gibbs phenomenon has been defined. So it is there in the screen for long. So this is this ringing artifact that you see in the signal, which is called Gibbs phenomena. Okay. Okay. So Wn we have already seen, right? So Wn, if you are considering rectangular window, then this is 0 to m, and W to the power j omega is like this, and this is linear phase, and this is the magnitude part. This we have studied long back when we discussed DTFT. Okay. It's just GP series. There we considered M1 to M2, much more involved. Later on, we considered M1 to be 0 and M2 to be M, and we looked at few examples, right? So here we are starting with 0 only. Okay. So when we plot this one, this rectangular window function for different values of m, here is a case of m is equal to 7. There also we had seen in the previous simulation and all different values of m. So what is your observation? Something has been mentioned here. So we are plotting the magnitude, right? So n is equal to 7. Okay, so n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? 8 values of Wn will be there. Right? Beyond that, Wn is 0. And we had done these calculations before, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. This we have done before. We all know about it. Okay, we worked for different values of m. This one, the main lobe width. So this is the way it has been defined here, that wherever they meet this, the first 0 point here, this negative going excursion, that is there. If it is not magnitude absolute value that is plotted, if it is plotted as it is, then there will be a negative going thing here. Okay, so that is 2 pi by m plus 1, so 2 pi by 8 in this case. So because m is equal to 7 and we are having n is equal to 0 to 7. So more the value of this m, the main lobe would become smaller and smaller, and we had seen that example. It will become sharper and sharper, more the delta function like. So that is one thing that we can figure it out. The other thing that we had noted before, and also it is mentioned here, peak amplitude of main lobe and side lobe increase, area under each lobe remains constant. Okay, so peak amplitude means this value that we are talking about because of increase in the m. So that is, if you normalize it, you will relative value, this one, it will be not that issue. Oscillation of h to the power j omega increases at discontinuity, but its amplitude remains constant. Okay, so this is the discontinuity part of it. So then the oscillation, these values will come closer and closer, and that will be manifested whatever you see in the next diagram. Okay. So this is what you see. So this is your h to the power j omega that you get by convolution or whatever we have just discussed, right? And so this is the transition region, and this is order 15, 30, 200 and 1000. Looks more like your ideal filter, very high order. Okay, so a lot of processing will be required, but okay, but this oscillation has increased over here near the transition region, and peak height remains constant. Okay, amplitude remains constant. Anyone wants to make any comment here?
Sir, not a comment, but I have a question. Like, how does this ripple like actually affect the signal? How much? Like, does it actually affect the signal very much, or?
Anyone wants to answer that? Good question. Your friend just has said, asked, how does it, this ripple, etc., affect the signal? Requesting a response from whoever you feel like.
Sir, we expected some.
Yes, please. You got muted.
Sir, we expect that the signal in the stop band subsequent frequency should be having similar stopping characteristics, but due to the ripples we get some frequencies, just the adjacent frequency would have a high amplification compared to the correspondingly nearby frequencies, and that would show ripples in the diagram.
Right. So what does it mean? Actually, this presence of ripples, that means that these are, there is a high and low value ripple is related to that. So instead of this ripple, if it was flat, something like this, okay, then you, depending on where it is becoming flat and all, how far, you would have a different transition band and different stop band attenuation. Now, because of the presence of the ripple, so the maximum height of the ripple is defining your stop band attenuation. Isn't it? And if you are not supposed to radiate, as I was telling, anything more than certain value, magnitude, in the band which does not belong to you, then this ripple, this maximum height, that would be the one that will be counted. It is not the other value that will be counted, the lowest value. It will be this one is getting counted, that you are radiating this much in the frequency band that I own, I have purchased. Okay, and that is one aspect of it. And as regard to the original signal, if you are passing it through this low pass filter, and the signal itself, signal, say if it is a speech signal or some such thing, has got its own characteristics which you want to utilize for some application. Because of this ripple, So certain frequencies when you pass it, because you require to pass it through a low pass filter for some reason or the other, or band pass filter. So at the output, what you will see if it is not flat. So original speech signal, whatever it was, is now differentially treated for different frequencies. So its inherent characteristics will be modified. So what you see at the output is actual signal characteristics plus whatever you have done. Some emphasis here, less emphasis here, more emphasis here, that kind of thing. And that might highlight, that might eliminate or reduce certain things which you are trying to explore. Does it answer your question? Hello, whoever has asked that question, does it answer?
Yes.
Okay. So now we provide those window functions and all. Handing, I said, looks nice, 0.5, 0.5, easy to implement in hardware. Okay, but okay, these are also you can do. And this is Bartlett triangular window. The governing principle over here, what you can see is that by tapering the window smoothly to 0, instead of, this was the kind of window we are having. Now we are talking about time domain. Don't mix it up with frequency domain. So this is WN. Frequency domain, this was like brick wall, that is the desired HD to the power omega. So that is a different thing. So this is rectangular window we are talking about. So by tapering the window smoothly to 0. So we are talking about tapering the windows smoothly to 0. Wider main lobe, but height of the side lobes decrease. So these different functions that you see, it is just doing different kind of tapering scheme, different kind of these plots that you will see. Okay, and because of which, because of this, there will be a trade-off between height of the side lobe, which contributes to the stop band attenuation, and wider main lobe, which contributes to the transition bandwidth. Okay, and this height of the side lobe, you will see, is fixed for a maximum height for a particular window function. Rectangular window you have seen, so you cannot do anything with that. But this transition width, you can play with the filter order. Okay, so in your design problem, if you are using this kind of window function, if customer wants that I need stop band attenuation below certain value, then you have to pick up an appropriate window which provides this thing. But parallelly, he is saying that transition width must be like this, because if you provide me that and then because of the wider main lobe, higher transition width, I go into somebody else's domain, I cross the guard band and start radiating there or interfering there, that is not allowed. Then you can reduce the transition width by increasing the value of the filter order. Is it clear? Have you understood this? Can I get the audio response? So depending on your customer's requirement, you have to pick up the stop band attenuation part, that part of the story. In your design process, you have to pick up these or any other, and there may be more candidates. Then if more candidates are there, fulfills, then you can pick up which one is giving you less order, because that will save your hardware. And transition width, you can play with M. Filter order, this M will not affect for a particular filter type the stop band attenuation or height of the side lobe. So Hamming, Bartlett, Henning, Hamming, Blackman. So these are the different window functions. Okay. And they look like this, the tapering part of it. Hamming and Henning we have seen. Hamming is the solid line over here, right? It ends in 0.08 or something. It's a bit exaggerated here, I believe. 0.1 is somewhere here. Okay, 0.8, okay, it's okay, looks good. Henning is dashed line, this dashed line, this is Henning. It ends in 0 that we told. And for those simulation purposes, we didn't consider the last values. Then Blackman, dash dot. Okay. And Bartlett is the triangular filter. Okay, just like a triangle, straight line in between. So Blackman is most, tapered in that sense, isn't it? I mean, the values are less and less compared to others. I mean, of course, initially it was more, this dash dot, but quickly it falls to this one. So this is one extreme, Blackman, right? In that sense. So if you plot them, it is taken from the textbook, but you can do it on your own. Then you will see that for rectangular, Bartlett, Henning, when this OpenAIM book was written is long back, so whatever simulation or whatever drawing they could do and figure out. So this is how they are plotted. But these days you have stronger visuals available through MATLAB, so you can look at it more clearly. So this is what they have put in the textbook. So this is minus 13 dB or so. It's just an eye approximation. Minus 25 for Bartlett. Minus 31 for Henning. But Henning's, you see how quickly it falls. You have seen this happening in your those experimentation and the demonstration observation that you made. This is 41. This is less, but after that the rate of fall is not that high. Blackman, the one extreme that you had, minus 57. The first side low is minus 57 down. That will be deciding the stop band detonation. So this is minus 31, minus 41, minus 25, minus 13. So this is one set of observation. What else you observe here? Anything else you observe here other than what I've just mentioned?
Sir, in case of Hamming window, the first side lobe is much lower than the other side lobes.
Yeah, it is according to their diagram. You just do your simulation and see, right? But it doesn't really matter. I mean, it is, I think there is some issues with the simulation. You just check. But whatever is this value, that would be the matter. So this is there in the textbook, and they said that time whatever they have done. So you check yourself in your MATLAB simulation. Any other thing that you observe?
The width of the central lobe is different for each.
Who is it? Name, please.
Rushil. Sir,
Sorry? Harshil. Oh, that is another important thing which we cannot avoid noting. Okay. One is this set of numbers. The other one is this vertical blue dashed lines. Okay. So these are giving you the so-called transition width and all, right? And 3 dB cutoff frequency of the low pass filter. So you can see this width is maximum for Blackman. Okay, so stop band attenuation is maximum, but width is also maximum. So that is the trade-off that was being talked about here. Okay, that the tapering is fine, but height of side lobe decreases, but wider main lobe. Okay, so this is what we observe here, right? So accordingly, you'll see if we look at in general a low pass filter. So you will see that is normalized version of it. So it is varying. It will vary, generally speaking. So it could be flat, flatter, and all depending on the filter that you are using. But generally speaking, it will lie within a range. Okay. So that is the range that we are talking about is 1 plus delta to 1 minus delta. And similarly, in this window-based filter design, you have seen that these, whatever be the window, corresponding W to the power j omega will be there, and its shifting will be there and all, and these side lobes will get into the place also. So whatever variation that delta, plus minus delta you see, that kind of plus minus delta will be visible over here also. Okay. And this peak and this peak over here corresponds to the main lobe width, and the actual transition that you see over here, where it is falling below the delta value, the excursion that is there, and it is picking up here. This is the transition region. So that will be smaller than the main lobe width. Main lobe width is this one, when this or this makes maximum contribution, the central part being away. So this height and this height that we are talking about. Okay. So this peak approximation error in passband is same as that in stopband. This is one observation that we can see from whatever we have discussed. Distance between approximate error peaks nearly same as main lobe width. So this distance and this distance. And peak approximation error is independent. Please mute at your end. Somebody is unmuted. Peak approximation error is independent of order depends on filter type, that we have already understood. So this is the last slide on content part of it. After that, I'll explain something. So this is what we note: rectangular window, part plate. Somebody is having good time. Rahul Meena. Yeah, muted. Rahul, sorry to miss you. Okay. Let us get back. Okay. So this is what we are discussing, that this is the different things that we have observed. This is the corresponding main lobe, and these are some peak approximation error. This variation 20 log 10 delta, if you calculate, this is the kind of values that you can get for these different windows. So depending on what your customer wants, you pick up one or the other window. Now we shall discuss one more variety of digital filter, FIR filter later, not now. Okay, up to class test 1, this is what we wanted to discuss on FIR filter design, etc. So because some of you might be tempted to try out different functions than whatever you see here, which is fine, you can try. But later on you will see when we discuss something called Kaiser window, which we are not discussing now, that Kaiser window has got some twiddle factor, some variable parameter by which they are trading this thing. I mean, between this transition width and peak side lobe width and all. Okay, so but however you are free to think of something, some tapering function of your own and see that how it works. Now I believe we can move to the next thing of simulation, next simulation assignment group based size of 4 maximum. Okay, and let me explain you what is expected here. So please listen to it carefully. Get speech recording of combination lock number. It has been given here 2439175. Okay, so this somebody utters it and you have to record it at 8 kilohertz sampling rate. And for this we need volunteers. So 2 boys and 2 girls. Just one sec. Just go through it. I'll explain. Here, delete it. Sorry for that. Yeah. So what you have to do actually, 2 boys and 2 girls are to volunteer, and who will be that, I leave it to you. And so they need to record whatever has been mentioned here. One in early morning, immediately after waking up, and one during lunch break. 3 utterances are to be recorded, the same thing. So we will be having this many number of speech files, right? And somebody need to take initiative to share these speech files to all the groups that are working on these simulation assignments. Is it clear? First part, can I get an audio response? If you have any query, any question on this, you let me know.
So the
Yes, please.
voice recorders which we use usually sample at 44 kilohertz or 48 kilohertz. So how will we change the
Now you
sampling?
can see wherever you have that option of changing it, okay, or you can downsample it later on. But you see whether you can use this one, right? Where you can change the sampling frequency, whether some such thing is there or not. I'm saying 8 kilohertz because you have to use less sample, but even if you go for 16 kilohertz, that is fine. But more than that is not required. 44 kilohertz is mostly for music and other quality, which is not required actually. I mean, you are talking about speech only, which is limited up to say 3.4, 3.5 kilohertz. So up to 16 kilohertz is fine. 8 kilohertz is okay. Is it okay? So you can figure out, you can try with this. Okay. So recording part is you have to finish in next 2-3 days, right? And it must be in two different sessions, early morning and when you are not, that active, and in the lunch time when you are sufficiently active. So we'll see that there is a difference. There could be a difference also. Those part is what is the part of the assignment that we shall see later. Is there any similarity or dissimilarity among different subgroups visually identifiable? So you can look at the spectrum of these speech files. So girls voice, boys voice. Okay, is there any difference? Girls voice, a particular girl speaking in the morning, speaking in the afternoon, after lunch. Is there any difference? Okay, similarly, another girl speaking in that manner, another boy speaking in that manner, third boy. So different, these groups are there, whether anything is there. So since there is a more of mini project kind of thing, so I don't need to explain each and everything. And so that part, it is, you work it out. So I'm just giving you overall statement target. Next, pass the signal through equispaced filters covering the speech spectrum. That is 10 filters. If 10 filters are there, so that means I'm suggesting 10 filters, but some of you can go for more. That is a different thing. That is part of the how you play with it and reach the final goal. If 10 filters are there, then you go ahead. So up to 4 kilohertz we are considering as the speech range, right? So 0 to 400, 400 to 800, 800 to 1200, etc. And calculate the energy of each filter output. For 10 filters, it will have 10 values. Now comment on their similarity and dissimilarity. If there is some sort of clustering, some sort of togetherness, some sort of similarity that are there between these different subgroups, these boys, girls, morning, afternoon. Okay, so that is the idea. Is it clear? Anyone has any question on this part? Any doubt? No.
It will be 4 people in a group, right?
4 people, maximum 4. 4 is okay, no? I mean, more than that, some of you will not contribute.
Yes, sir. 4 is nice.
So in this study, you can play with window type of filter, And for similarity, dissimilarity, you can calculate Euclidean distance. You can calculate some other distance also, Norland distance, anything. I mean, this is just, you may, I'm writing, right? So it is up to you how you play with it, right? Now increase the number of filter banks and see this, and see its effect on similarity, dissimilarity. So 10 I told. So that is, if it is a very quartz kind of thing, then you can go to more, fine such spacings. Then make half the filters equally spaced between 0 to 1000 and rest between 100 to 1000 to 4000 also. That means what you are doing, you are having a denser representation of filters here and not so dense over, this is 3000, this is 1000, because the idea here is that much of the information, discriminating information, etc., will be in this range and less in this range, relatively less. So that could be the reason that one can think of this kind of thing. Now, read later, considering that your goal is to find an algorithm that allows only a particular speaker to be able to open the lock by uttering the combination lock number, what is the best false acceptance and false rejection ratio you obtained so far? Can you further improve it by doing something which is not listed above? What do you mean by this? Now, one of those 4 boys or girls will utter that number, whatever number we have mentioned here, 2439175, and the system should be able to recognize, system will say, okay, this is fine. But another girl speaking or another boy speaking, it will reject. Okay. Do you get my point? This is a person specific, because for that particular boy or girl, you have seen there is certain kind of thing, similarity, within which these coefficients, these values, these filter bank outputs are lying. Right? So now that a test utterance has come, right, that you are doing a match, degree of match, or calculating the distance, right, a vector form of distance now, and you are saying, okay, now yes, this is a thing. So, but in some cases you'll see that somebody else is coming here, somebody else's voice is accepted, so that is false acceptance. Okay. And finally, this is something which we have not covered so far. So this is self-study. What is speech of specific null? Can you find some from published literature a speech extraction algorithm that makes sense to you? Can you use it in previous study? So that is self-study, and if you want, if you can use it here or not. So we stop here. Any question?
Sir, we'll also have the noise, right? We have to do. Should we need to do anything to reduce the noise or what?
Yeah, that those things are, without removing noise, with removing noise. So that is up to you. We leave that part. I'm not discussing that here. Is it fine?
Sir, one more doubt. Sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, should all the groups select a particular speech of a particular person, or it is up to us to select from all the 4 samples?
It's okay. I mean, if you have 2 boys and 2 girls, it is fine. I mean, because number of girls are usually less, so that's why I could have otherwise told that, in your group, from each group you can have a different kind of thing, right? So only 2 boys and 2 girls should be there, right? And when you finally do a test and all, demo and all, then those 2 boys and girls need to be present that day. I mean, they will be present in any case. Okay, so that will be pre-decided.
Sir, no, sir.
So,
what I'm asking is, sir, you asked what would be the best false acceptance or false rejection rate. It would be different for a different voice, I guess. Mostly like
No,
some peculiar boys
yeah, I
will have.
get your point. Yeah, right now, because you are early into this particular thing, right? So you can consider only those 4 boys and girls are only under consideration. It is not an open set problem. It is a closed set problem. You can think in that manner, right?
Okay, sir.
And also I have mentioned say 24 speech file because I didn't want to tax those people who are offering speech to great extent. But if you can convince them, these boys and girls, to provide more speech samples, you can have a better training, better understanding of the profile, right? That is there, and session-wise variation, and also many things are open-ended. I'm not, I have only expressed the basic problem. The more thing you can work it on your own. And if you have any, I'll put it up in the class folder. If you have any specific question, we can discuss later. Okay.
Sir, just one doubt. So
yes, please. Yes, please.
So
I'm only worried that you are getting late for next class. Otherwise, yeah, go ahead. I have no issue. Please.
So the 4 speech samples of 2 boys and 2 girls, does that need to be uniform for all groups, or the groups can procure it as
you can have you can have different. You can have different. No issue.
Okay.
You can have different. And again, I'm saying that I've said 24 speech file. If you get more speech file, perhaps you can have a better way of doing the things. But it is up to you. This is the bare minimum, and given the 2 girls may not be there in every group, so I kind of mentioned here because the less number of girls. So it is up to you. If another set of boys and girls contribute, no issue. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, one more thing.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yeah.
Sir, also the rate at which they utter these words also matters, right?
Right. Yeah. So, again, that's why I made it close-ended. I said this is your first attempt. Okay. So I'm not making it too complicated. Right. So it is a close set kind of thing. So whatever similarity, etc., you are looking at only a specific set, specific phrase kind of thing. So it is not a commercial version that you can go and sell. So that will come later. It is your first cut. You've just learned only FIR filter design, and there are many other things. And this distance, etc., you are talking about Euclidean distance. So that is something you may not be interested in that kind of thing. You might look at some non-linear space and different kind of training and all. Okay, so those things we will take up later. So the commercial version is not what is attempted here, but application of signal processing and gradually, otherwise these are done by so-called AI, say neural network and many other things that but will come later. Let us not hurry into things. Here we are doing things which we can see. This is not black box, which is clearly explainable. So that part we are focusing on because we are in a course where we have the opportunity of doing things in that manner. Is it fine? Shall we stop?
Sir, I had one query from the previous group assignment. If nobody has queries on this one, can I ask that?
Yes, please.
Sir, actually, my group, we made the submission before time, but forgot to include the MATLAB code in that submission.
Yeah, no problem. I have seen that mail. Not an issue.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, we stop here. Right. If you have any further query, I'll put it up over here. And any variation on variation and other things, you can let me know.
Sir, what's the topic for the tutorial tomorrow?
This DTFT FIR filter design. I discussed whatever your feedback is there. So mostly it was on tutorial. Yesterday evening we had a meeting with TAs. So I shared this thing. So let us see if some small modification from their end can help you in a big way or not. So I shared the feedback. Okay. So next week we shall have class test. Class test, somebody said the syllabus and all. Usually class test, whatever is covered till the previous class is considered, but definitely whatever is covered up to today and the assignment that will follow will have greater weightage. And if anything else is discussed, that will have very small weightage also, I mean, negligible weightage. Okay. But because of the definition of the class test, we might include one small question or so. I mean, not much weight from whatever we discussed beyond today. And next week I'll tell you which day the class test will be there. And I got your point. So this you want camera, different channels. That's 20 students in one this thing. Parents, many of you are welcoming that idea, but some of you are saying that parents are in job and all, and not required. I mean, you can take care on your own. So fine, we leave that idea. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.